Okay, now we're recording. Okay.
Okay,
All right.
I'm gonna just say create report.
Okay. And you're
And
going to share
yeah,
that?
I'm gonna share once I get it pulled up.
Okay. Let's see. I'm going to
If
put
I can figure out how
full
to pull it up.
screen.
Okay, let's see here.
Yeah, I had to fly out. That's my daughter decided she's moving to Nashville or Tennessee too. So I flew out, caught the red eye and loaded her up yesterday. And so I'm going to drive her back. I'm like, okay, I'm out.
Okay,
So I had to book it out to Albuquerque late. So
wait a second for you guys.
Ika had a
Yep.
problem. She had a problem with the house she was closing today. I guess it flooded, so she's gonna go take her wrench and go fix it herself.
Plumbing is always an issue. Flooding and all that, that can be a big deal.
It's crazy sometimes, crazy. Always when when you want to get busy, book a little trip real quick. You get busy. I
It's
have
so
had more
true.
showings since I've been out here.
Trying to see where I can find the what I have here.
Okay.
I have the report. Okay, maybe I'll just create it again real quick.
Okay.
Hang on a second.
Meanwhile, does anybody have any questions or objections that you guys have been running into that I can
Okay.
help? No? It looks like let's see, we got Johnny. Johnny, do you have a
Um,
question?
yeah, it's not an objection, but how would you handle this situation? I have a seller who's received multiple offers, a lot of offers, so we know that we're really truly at market value.
Right.
We get the inspection back. It's got a lot of items. He gets mad. He cancels it. We go on the market again. We get multiple offers again. We end up almost at the exact same situation, and I'm about to call him today to have a repeat of the same conversation that
Right.
these items have to be addressed. I'm not sure where to go to succeed in that conversation.
Well, what exactly is his issue? He doesn't want to see there's two issues with repairs. They don't want to mess with them is one issue, or they don't want to pay for them. So what I would find out is what's the issue? Is it just you don't want to take the time to fix it because we're going to run into this every time, um, or is it the money? So if it's the
It's the
money,
money.
it's the money.
It is.
Well, if it's the money, then
And a
it's
little bit of like prop.
and the what?
Sorry, my connection's not great.
Trying to open this up so I can see you guys.
Well, the other day I had that same, basically that same thing, and my conversation went like this: we got to fix it. It's something that we got to fix. We can't ignore it, and or we can't give financing. Period. Um, so find out what the thing is. Get them to explain that, or you got to explain that you won't get the financing, or if it's something that's not subject to financing, then throw some money at the deal to the buyers. But if it's something that has to be done to get the financing, then it has to be done.
Yeah,
Period.
yeah, it's a struggle because in the interim, we had a cash offer with no inspection, like
Okay.
cash, no inspection, and the price on that cash offer is basically going to be the same as the result of this current offer after we give buyer credits for the problems that are required for insurability.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
yeah. So you have an unsellable property or a non-conforming property if you can't get the repair fixed. So I would work with the lender, see if you can just escrow some money, because a lot of times, like I said, they just don't want to mess with it.
Right.
But if it is the money, then they've got to get on the ball, or it's not going to be able to get sold. And
Right.
then
Right.
what you
I
want
found
to,
my I've heard Jim say, most sellers are uneducated versus greedy. And with this one, I've had so many offers and so much proof of where everything sits. I'm wondering if I've found the small percentage that falls into the other category.
Yes, you did. So what you want to do is you have standards. You got to get this closed. He's either got to fix it or the property's not going to be sellable. So if it needs to have financing, which is 99% of the people out there need financing, then you got to get the deal fixed. You have to disclose, now that you've seen the problems, you have to disclose that to all buyers, and they're going to want it fixed. So it's an issue that has to be fixed.
Okay.
Okay. And if he doesn't want to fix it, then then it's an issue that we want to throw some money to the buyer and see if the buyer will fix it.
Right.
But
seller or buyer concessions, right?
Right. So either way, we can't ignore it. It's got to be done, or you don't have a saleable property.
Okay. Thank you.
And because of disclosure, you have to disclose everything. So once it's found out, you can't hide it. So
right.
even if he says, well, I'll use a different realtor, it's the same factor, same thing.
Right.
So you just got to be truthful and say, look, I don't like it either, but we've got to get it done.
And unfortunately, I hate to say something that I can't be 100% certain of, but I don't think there was a realtor before me, and I don't think he was entirely honest on the seller's property disclosure.
Yeah, I'm sure he probably wasn't. There's a lot of agents don't want to disclose, so they just kind of look the other way and they hope that something will happen, but that's how you lose a license real quick. That's how you get fined. So yeah, you just always want to be honest up front and say, look, we've got an unsaleable property if we don't deal with this issue.
Okay.
So
thanks. Thank you.
You bet.
You ready? You guys ready?
Yes.
What one thing is saying up here is that the host isn't allowing a sharing for this meeting.
Okay.
So
That's
do
what
that. I won't share yet until I'm ready to get you on it, but at least open that up so I'll be able
to. Absolutely. Okay, share.
Thank you.
Let's see.
I'm not nervous. I know
photos.
You guys.
Document.
I'm grateful for this. I'm telling you, this is what we got to do. Okay. You all ready? Oh, so
yeah, I think that.
Knock.
Okay, can you see it?
When it's time, I will. Let me go ahead so we can get this done.
Okay. Hello.
Okay.
Yeah, come on in. Hi, Deborah.
Hi.
I'm Ron. Are you
Hi,
Deborah?
Ron. Thanks again for having me. And regardless of what you've heard about the real estate market, I'm excited about getting your home on the market and getting it sold. Fair enough?
Sounds good to me. I need it sold.
Okay.
So do you want me to show you around?
No, don't show me around. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a couple of things that I've already sent you, my marketing plan, my 30-point marketing plan, and my communication guarantee. So why don't we go to the kitchen table? I'll put my things down and you have an opportunity to look at these items while I take a quick look so I can look at the home from the buyer's eye.
Great. That sounds good to me.
Okay, great. And so, wow, your home is really nice. I see that you've done some work to it and that you've already started packing. So that's a good thing. And I'll give you some tips as we move along, okay?
Oh, that sounds good. I need some tips.
Okay, very good. And so, Ron, I wrote down 4 critically important questions for you. And so what I want to do is just find out a little bit more information so we can get the house sold right away. What are 2 or 3 things that are important for you after hiring a realtor?
Well, I need to, the last realtor we had never communicated with us. So, it expired and I really didn't know until realtors started calling. So yeah, let me know. Communication, pricing, how you came up with the price, what you're going to do to actually get it sold. And and what will I make? That's after everybody gets paid, because I've heard we don't have to pay the other agents, and I've heard all kinds of different things, and I'm real confused.
Okay, well, I'll help you with all of those questions. And you were, pardon me, able to look at the communication guarantee, and I'll go over that with you a little bit more as we go along. And so the other question I have, the second question is, do you absolutely have to sell your home?
Yeah, I don't have a choice. I've got a job waiting for me, and we got to get it done like in by the end of summer. So
Fantastic. And I'm sure I can get it done for you
fantastic.
by the end of the summer. And the third question, will you price your home to sell or would you prefer to keep it on the market for an extended period of time?
No, I don't want to give it away, but yeah, I need to definitely price it to sell.
Great. And the fourth question is, do you want me to handle the sale for you?
Yes, yes. I want to hear what
Excellent.
you have to say
Okay.
before I sign anything with you. But yeah, I like the way you've kept in touch with me since we talked, and you came right over. I'm pretty excited about what you have to offer.
Okay, well, excellent. And so then all we need to do now is to sign the paperwork. Why don't we pull the marketing plan out? Because, well, let's go with the communication guarantee first, because that was the
Okay.
first thing you said. You said, hey, you want to make sure that the agent is communicating with you. And so if you look at the communication guarantee, even though I won't be able to share because I'm not savvy enough, guys, but the
Yeah, I mean, same with
communication,
me here. I'm like trying to get this
right.
screen share.
Right. The communication guarantee, Ron, every agent says they'll communicate with, but they lack the communication. This communication guarantee, that's actually the number one complaint about what other people say. The question
Yes,
is, you should ask, what specifically does an agent do about that? And with me, I actually guarantee my communication. I will communicate with you each and every week that your home is listed with me by phone, email, or text. And now I have that right here. Which do you prefer? Do you prefer email, phone, or text? What is your preferred way?
um, actually, texting, I guess, or but I think an email I can save it better. Yeah, send it by email, and but yeah, either way, anyway, as long as I'm hearing from you, I
Okay. You would definitely hear from me. And at the beginning of when I market your home, you'll probably hear from me, not so much every week, probably every day until everything is set up in a smooth way where you can feel comfortable and confident. Okay. So at least I
yes.
know texting and then preferably email as well. And
Yeah, that, as long as you just even call me, just, let me know what's going on because, it's kind of a big step for me. I gotta make sure it sells, Deborah. I can't waste any more time because I'm pushing that deadline. And I don't
okay.
want to rent it. I don't want to rent it or, split up my family while it's on the market. So,
Okay, and I understand that. I mean, you've been through this already. You're exhausted from it. You already said that you want your agent to communicate, and I'll make sure I do that. And then not only that, Ron, if I fail to communicate with you during any given week, I will actually reduce my commission payable to you by $100.
oh,
Did you
wow,
did you
that
see that?
works.
Did you see that? There's no limit to the number of times that $100 reduction can be implemented. Isn't that wonderful?
Yeah, that sounds good. That sounds
And
good.
and Ron, the communication is the number one reason home sellers are not satisfied with their agents, other than getting the home sold. So instead of making promises, I make a commitment. And so if you want to go ahead and sign that communication guarantee right there so we can keep this
Absolutely.
paperwork going. Okay, excellent.
Okay.
Okay. And also, we're going to go over to the marketing because you asked what I was going to do. If you look at the marketing plan right here, you see I have a 30-point marketing plan. And
Okay. Yeah.
were you able to look at that in detail?
I got everything you sent me, and wow, I read it, but I kind of, was a little overwhelmed with it. But I'm seeing now that you're talking about it, how important it is. Yeah. So, I've got it out here in front of me again too. So
Okay, great. Well, why don't I go ahead and get you to sign right there?
okay.
Okay. So we've got the communication guarantee and the marketing plan out of the way. Now, the other thing that you mentioned was the pricing. Okay. And
Yes,
so
yes.
what I want to tell you is that do you, first of all, do you have any questions about my aggressive marketing plan?
No, I mean, you laid it all out. It looks good. I think that, the way you followed up with me and you got right over here, I mean, that tells me a lot. So, yeah, just remember that I really need to get it sold.
Okay, and I've got you on that. I'm gonna get it done. And so I'm gonna get it sold for you. And
Okay.
do you have any more questions, any other questions about my communication guarantee? Are you good with that?
Yeah, I'm good with that. I mean, I don't know. I probably wouldn't ask you for the 100, but I mean, do I keep track of that, or what do you want me to do?
Yeah, I'll keep track of that. And I'm sure you'll keep track of that as well, because you're going to be like, dog. I mean, but this won't happen. This won't
Okay.
happen. Okay, that won't happen. You're going to hear from me. And
Okay.
I'm going to share this with you. Here's what separates me from the other agents. Monday through Thursday, from 8 a.m. to 11 a.m., I'm on the phone looking for buyers and sellers. I speak with 20 to 30 people about buying and selling real estate daily. And you and I both know there is a buyer for your home. And my
Oh
job
yeah.
and my job is to find the buyer.
Yeah. Well, that's what I want to hear. I want to
That
hear
is
you're out
what you
there looking for someone to buy this home.
and that is what you expect, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
That's what I didn't have with the other agent.
Okay. And again, I'm sorry that you didn't have that. And actually, Ron, I have to work with these agents.
Yeah.
So I understand exactly what you're talking about. And so why don't we go into the pricing, because that was something. I'm a checklist girl, so I'm going to use my notes so I can make
Okay.
sure I follow everything. And as a real estate expert, I study the market daily, and I'll share some key insights so we can agree on a price that gets your home sold so we can move, so I can move you to, where did you say, even though I would have written it down, where are you going, Ron?
Well, I'm going to Albuquerque, New
Yeah,
Mexico.
yeah, so I can get you to Albuquerque, New Mexico by the end of the summer. Did you say end of the summer?
Yes, I got to get out here. My job depends on that.
Okay, and so let me share the screen now. I'll share the screen. Okay.
Okay.
And at the end of my presentation, there are going to be one of three things that will happen.
Okay.
You'll list your house with me, you'll decide
Did
not to, or I'll choose not to take the listing, but any of these is fine. Any of those is fine. Okay?
okay.
And take a quick review. Oh, I know you're going
Okay.
to Albuquerque.
Hold
I
on.
know
I'm
you,
trying to figure out the screen on that, guys. I
okay,
apologize. This is
let me just see if I can.
okay.
Okay, turn it on. You got to turn it on.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to do that on this tablet. Hold on.
Okay.
Let's
Well,
see.
we'll keep going. We'll keep going. We'll keep going.
Okay.
Okay, we'll keep going.
Okay.
And so you're moving to Albuquerque. You want to be there because typically we would know all this, guys. And I know you want to be in there by the end of the summer, right? And you would like to price your home at, did you say what price did you what let's just make up one. What did you
Yeah,
say?
well, I think it's good for 575.
575. Okay. And so you said 575 and you told me the amount that you owe. We would have all this already ahead, guys.
Yes, yes.
And you weren't planning to sell it yourself. And you told me that you want to get the money out, and I'm going to help you get that money out. Isn't that right?
Yes. Yes.
Wonderful. So now there are only two issues we need to look at. One, your motivation, and two, the price we set.
Okay.
There are two parts to my research. The first part is we call fantasy land. What homeowners list their home for.
Okay.
Part two, we call reality, what real estate agents list and sell homes for.
All
And we
right.
have to decide today where you will spend your time.
Well, obviously, I guess I got to be in reality, right?
Well,
Uh,
I hope so because what I've done is I've studied the pricing and I am an expert. And so I'm going to show you some information so we can come up with something together, okay?
oh, that sounds great. That sounds
Okay,
great. Yeah, because I don't know anything about the pricing. I Googled, I Zillowed it. I've had another a friend tell me a price, but I would feel comfortable with the 575. I mean, what do you think?
okay, well let's look at everything together. The CMA helps us determine the home's value in the eyes of a buyer. The buyer
Okay.
is going to determine what this house sells for. Do you know how buyers assess value?
No.
Okay, buyers determine value by comparison shopping. They look at the price of your house based on your home's features, benefits, and they compare it with the features and benefits of similar homes that have recently sold or are currently on the market. Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, that makes sense. I would do probably the same thing. Compare other properties, correct?
Hmm. That's
Okay.
right. So think of like buying a car. If you have two identical cars, both are 50K, but one has an entertainment center, which one is more valuable?
Well, that one, the one with the entertainment center.
What if one without the what if one without the system is 45K, which is the better value?
Well, I would probably take that because I could put in my own radio entertainment center for less than
Okay.
5,000.
So you
So,
feel like, because the price is lower, that would probably be more valuable if you wanted to put in another system in. Okay. So
yes.
you can see if you want to increase the value, you either going to lower the price or you're going to have more features for the same price. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Good,
I
good.
understand.
So unless you're planning to add features to your home, are you planning to?
No, I don't want to do anything more to the home. I just don't have time to deal with stuff like that.
Okay. So so then the price is the key issue then, right?
Yes.
Okay. So
Yes.
based on this information, and I'm going to show you the information. Let's go here. I'm going to pull the CMA that I have. Okay.
Okay.
So your property has 1920 living area. Lot size is 2,682. It was built in 2017. Okay.
Okay.
And then we've got one that is active right now for it's got 1812 on the living area.
Okay.
And then the lot is 1870. That was actually built in 2014. Okay. And this is active and it's been on the market for 68 days. And that's priced at 505.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's priced at 505. Now there's another one at 9704 Glassy Creek Way. That is actually a four-bedroom, four bath, and that's closer to what yours is. It's because it's 1920 on the living square feet. Now the lot is a little bit smaller, but guess what? That was built in 2020. So it's actually 3 years newer than your house.
Okay.
And
And how
that's
much is it?
That's listed at five. Excuse me, guys. That's listed at 555. Okay,
Okay.
555. And then there's another one that's active right now, and that's at 9507 Vent Creek. That's active, and that's a 4-4. Same thing as yours, 1920 on the living square. The lot is a little bit smaller. That's been on the market for 3 days. And believe it or not, they priced it below that 555. They priced that at 549.9.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Yeah, they priced it
Wow.
a little bit below. Now, this is where it becomes kind of interesting. We've got one that, keep in mind, these are the active. So I went over one that was 505,
Okay.
I went over one that was 555, one at 549.9.
Yes.
The ones that have sold, and this, so the one that was 3 days on the market, but the one that sold at Belinda Boulevard is actually 2,376 on living square footage. That
Okay.
property, that lot is smaller than yours. It's at 1804, but guess what? The age is 2024. That's a lot newer than your
Right.
house.
Yeah.
And that property actually sold in 25 days for 472.
Oh, really? That's like 100,000 less than what I was thinking.
Sold for 472. And that's sold like in 25 days. Where the one up at the top, that active one that listed, and it's a little older, is still on the market for 68 days for 505. So I want to let you know there's another one that closed at 904 Waller Tree, and that one has a lot more living square feet. It is the same, it's at 2,376 on the living feet, and it's a smaller lot. That was on the market for 22 days, and that sold at 475.
So
Okay.
what do you think? So
Well,
you're
well,
saying
I'm going
I'm
to share one more with you, and then
okay.
we're going to look at everything. Now, there's another one that at 8811 Sybil Lane, it's even more comparable to what yours is. It's got the 4 bedroom, 4 bath, and the living square feet is 2,002. The square feet is a little bit more than yours, 2,934. That was on the market for 15 days, and that sold for 499.
Wow.
Okay. So, I mean, I know you were thinking about 575, but if you look at what I've just shared with you, how do you feel about that?
Well, I mean, I don't like losing it, but I guess if it's not going to sell, then we got to price it. So where are you thinking I should be?
Okay. I'm glad you asked. That's a good question. Now we have a range. The highest one that sold was 499.9. I mean 499. Okay. Then
Okay.
we've got to think about our competition. Okay. We never want to list higher than the competition, because I'm going to paint a picture for you about, you're sitting at the airport, you're on your plane, you're ready to take off, but they say,
Okay.
hey, we can't take off because we got other planes coming in. Okay. So what happened with all these other properties that are coming in, here we are, we're landing in and we're ready to take off. Okay. And so we already know that I've got to make sure that when a buyer comes in and they put an offer in, I've got to make sure it appraises as well. Okay. That's the part that my expertise comes in at, making sure that it
Okay.
appraises properly. So just from looking at the lowest price that's on the market right now, because guess what? All these others, well, that one was on the market for 68 days. You remember I told you that?
Yeah.
So probably, because I don't have all my information, guys, we would probably have seen that price reduction. Okay.
Okay.
If I had everything organized, we would see that reduction. So right now, being that the last one sold at 499, we had our competition at 505, 555, and 549. I really think that we need to come down. I think that we need to be under that. So from what I told you, what do you think?
All I know is I need to get it sold, Deborah. So what do you feel I should be priced at that we can sell in the time frame that I need? I mean, it sounds like you've got all the stats, and I'm not going to argue with those. So we
Okay.
need to get it. I need to get it sold. So I know I'm losing some equity, but hey, you can't lose
So
what you never had, right?
from the numbers that I showed you, so we had a range, they listed between 475, 472, so really 465 to 565. So what do you, from what I gave you, do you not see that what a good price would be?
Well, it sounds like somewhere in there 460 is what you're saying.
That's not a bad observation. I was thinking more like 472. But what did you say? 460 what?
460. Let's just put it at 460.
You know what? If we put it at 460, we're coming in real strong. Okay, we're coming in real strong. I like that. Okay.
Okay,
So
that sounds good.
let's go with 460.
Okay,
Okay. So let's
and
go ahead and get the
you feel
paperwork.
you
I'm
feel
sorry.
that if we list it at 460, Deborah, you
Yep.
feel we can get it sold in that time frame and close so that I can get to Albuquerque.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely. And I don't see why not. We're going to position ourselves, but keep in mind, this is what I want to tell you.
okay,
We're listing it at 460. We're going to get the buyers in there. Okay. And that's a great thing. They're going to determine that for us. Okay.
okay.
They're going to determine that for us. I'm a master negotiator. I'm going
All
to do
right.
my very best to keep that price up there where you want it. I mean, you
Okay,
do have some equity coming in. So let's go ahead and do it at 460 and we'll go from there. How does that sound?
that sounds good to me. I'm ready to sign. Where
Okay,
do I
let's
sign?
sign. Okay, here we go. Boom, 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 boom.
All
That's
right. That was good. That was good. So I gave you the price, the way you positioned that. Um, so that was a good presentation. I was right there. I felt like I was ready to sign though.
yeah,
So yeah, you just closed me. I was ready to go because I don't have any time left,
yeah,
right?
right, right.
And the way you pursued me from the phone call, just to being a cold call, right, to setting this up right away. And then you had those stats, you had your presentation, and I was ready. I'm not even going to consider interviewing anybody else.
Well, I'm really excited that you got that 460. Now, I'll tell you this. Now, this is something off the record. So Relo called me to list this. I called the sellers because you got to call them right away once they send it to you. I don't know if you've worked with Relo. So I called. The husband picked up. He said, "Oh, I think my wife is working with someone." And I said, "Really?" So the wife called me back. She said, "I'm working with, I can't remember, it's an agent out of my office."
Oh
So
yeah.
just so happened. So I don't really know what the agent is listing her price for. So I'm going to let you guys know what she listed it for because I wasn't the agent that was able to go in and get that reload listing. But just from what I saw, these were the numbers that I was going to use to go in to do my presentation. And you know what? I'm going to tell you guys something. This is an area that has been my weak point, being able to get them to see the price because there was I can't remember the other girl, but I think Eric and the other guy, I can't remember who, they really showed me because I've been watching how other people do on how you don't have to have so many comps. You kind of just have to have a little bit because I used to be kind of like an overkill,
Right.
and actually I would even give the price. But now I don't. And so I stay away from that. And I was glad when you said 460 because but then I told them what my price was. So should I have done that or not?
Well, I think what you did where I kicked in the price, I saw your range. I was good with that, 460.
Okay.
Now I was
Okay.
shocked that it wasn't 575 like the last agent, but
Yes.
to be honest, there's a lot of lousy agents out there. They'll take a listing at any price just to have a listing.
Mm-hmm.
And but if you felt my personality going, I just wanted Deborah to get it done in the time frame we need to get it done. You didn't even
Yep.
really have to show me any comps. I was already
Right.
sold on the way you handled it from the time we talked to you on the phone to
Mhm.
making your presentation. I was sold on you. So
And I used the 1 minute presentation. You were ready to sign.
yes,
So,
and you had me signing. What was good about your presentation, you had me sign the communication agreement. I signed it. You
well, I
know,
just
you,
learned that. I just learned that last week because when everybody said, "What do you do?" I don't know who said, what do you do while you're looking at the house?" I think you said, Ron, that you give them something to look at.
yes,
Typically, I don't email anybody anything, but most agents are doing that. So I'm going to email the communication guarantee and the marketing plan, and you don't really have to spend a lot of time with that. The thing
exactly.
is, like Jim said, we're not trying to be in there an hour. you know,
Well, you don't want to be there an hour, especially with a guy like me, because I was ready
no,
to go.
you
So
were
if you'd have
ready.
sent me, I send the whole presentation. I'll even send the price, and if I object to the price or the seller does, they might call you prior to. Just say,
Oh
great,
yeah,
I'm
yeah,
so
that's
glad you
right. You
brought that up.
Yeah, you did say you send your price. You did
Absolutely.
say you send your price. Now, Eric had a beautiful CMA. So I mean not CMA, the net. I typically would have had that net with that 472. So, but hey, look, it's
No,
just a minor adjustment. You've got the net right there.
right, right. It really comes down to from your time on the phone when you called them and you set an appointment. I was an expired, so I was motivated. That an expired is motivated. So
Mm-hmm.
you also know what price it didn't sell at. So
Yep.
you have a lot of information that you don't even need to ask them about because you know it. And
Mm-hmm.
so when you go to present it, if you're just honest and say, look, this is where we need to be to get you to, Albuquerque in 90 days, period.
Mm-hmm.
And if that's your motivation, which it was mine, it really, I don't have a choice. I know that it didn't sell at 575. I want it sold. And
Mm-hmm.
so I had to take the hit, but really I can't lose what I never had. So that's what I tell people. Hey, you can't lose what you never had. So we just got to get that out of our mind and focus on getting it sold this time.
Yes.
So any questions? Alexana, comments, questions on, I can't hear you. You're muted there. There we go.
Yeah, I thought you did really well, Deborah. That was really, really good. In fact, you weren't even, this was like, rushed or tossed together. So you did really, really well. I was actually, there was a lot there. I like that you went through each process. I mean, yeah, you sat down right away. You pretty much asked for the appointment. I think that's something that I need to do more of. Like, just going there and says, okay, is this clear? You ready to sign? So I think sometimes in my head, it's like I have to show you all these reasons why you need to sign with me, almost, convincing you. So that was really good. And I liked how you said, I don't make promises, I make a commitment. So I really did like that. And, I think that was interesting. I know where you said I'll deduct $100. That that's good. I know another agent does it, and she says, for every time I don't communicate with you, I'll deduct $1,000 or something like that. Which I think putting it in a more realistic number kind of makes it a bit more appealing. So I think that's actually a good one instead of putting some ridiculous price. Um,
Very good. That was
I was
that
thinking,
was that was a good twist on that. As far as my type of personality, I just want you to sell it, Deborah.
Right, right.
I'm
Yeah.
I probably not going to keep track of each time but that
You
is
did ask
something
that though. You did
that's
ask that.
something. It sets you higher. It sets that bar higher for Deborah. And that's what sets you apart.
yeah,
So
point it sets you apart, and I guess that's the whole idea is like what sets you apart. So that's another added value. I like that.
yes,
Thank you.
I see the whole thing where you went over, are you, at the beginning, you went, once you started to go over the comps, you're like, are you okay with sitting on the market forever, or you want to sell, sooner than later? So I did like how you prefaced that before you went into the comps, like you started out with that. So they
Right.
had that in mind, then you went over the process. I think that was it.
Good
Thank you.
comments. Good
The whole
feedback.
the whole plane thing, I didn't know I didn't really see the correlation there. Maybe it's just me, but you're
I
saying
didn't hear you.
land. Yeah, I would say the whole correlation between the plane landing and
Oh, yeah. So what it is the runway. So what happens is if you're sitting there on the market, and we saw with that higher price that there was a higher price. He was on the market for 68 days, but somebody else came on in and they brought that price down. So that's why I said more than likely that price has been reduced because he's been on the market for 68 days. And then these other ones came in. So as we're sitting on the market, others are coming in. Okay.
Yes.
Always. So Ron, why don't you emphasize that? Speak on that.
Well, you gotta remember they're gonna come in. Hopefully, they'll support your price. But sometimes, if a neighbor comes in and it submarines you on the price,
Yep.
then you gotta have an honest conversation with your sellers, and hopefully, I mean, if it makes sense that the lower price will sell before ours sells, but we don't want to take that risk. We can't ignore, especially something that is going to be, if it's a neighbor and it's very similar to our construction and our floor plan, and which a lot of them are. You can't ignore that, and that's going to be the most weighted comp when it comes to an appraisal. So Deborah went into, I can sell the buyers, but I can't sell the bank on it. I got to have something that the appraiser is going to say, okay, I'm seeing this other comp. Why do you feel you're so much higher? I don't see it. So sometimes it's easier to sell the buyers on the house and a price, but if you're too far off and you can't sell the bank, then it doesn't matter, does it? The
Yeah.
bank has to agree on the price unless the buyer wants to come up with the difference, which they're not going to do. So
And then here's 30 days, and here comes a new one up the street. And then you're forced to have to get your client to reduce, where if you, because they're coming in,
right,
the planes are
it's
coming
like
in, the
you
houses are
get in.
coming.
I call it quicksand. You're in quicksand.
Okay.
Okay, and you just
Oh,
keep
yeah,
going
that's
down
right. You
because the
use a
price is,
quicksand example. That's right.
yes. So you got to be honest. You just can't ignore a highly weighted comp. So the appraiser's going to weight that neighbor over anything else you can pull, especially if it's the same floor plan, construction style, built the same time, and similar lot. So you have to have an honest conversation, and then you just go in and tell Mr. Seller, we can't ignore this. You know it and I know it. And the seller will say, okay, I understand.
It's a lot easier to get, I mean, we all learn because I'm like, look, I'm gonna take this listing, but the thing is, if it's not priced properly, okay, you're going to spend the money on the marketing, you're going to spend your time. And in the market that at least I'm in, it's not like that right now. You really have to have it on point or it's going to sit.
Well,
And
it
seller
hurts
isn't
you.
going to want to bring that price down because they've already calculated in their mind how they're going to be spending their money.
Well, I think they will when you show them the stats and you
Yes,
back it up with
yes,
confidence.
yes.
So it's all in it's in your confidence how you present that. And your confidence is, it's not worth me taking a listing just to have a listing. I have to have a saleable listing. Mr. Seller, I'd love to take your property, but if you're going to be at that price, it doesn't do either of us any good because I'm not going to make a commission. You're not going to make a sale. And it's just going to hurt you because it's on the market longer and longer and longer. And we see the trend in quicksand. We're being sunk. Houses keep coming on the market at better pricing because the market's turning. It's just the way it is.
Yeah.
But if you can talk to them with confidence and show that it doesn't matter I'd love to list it at a higher price, but I can't because we're not going to get it sold at that price. See, and other agents they'll go ahead and take overpriced listings. I don't know why. They think that if they have a sign out there, they'll pick up something, but that's a hope and pray method. That's a silly method to spend a lot of money marketing a property that you know is overpriced.
Yep.
So,
Been there,
Leanne,
done that.
Leanne, do you have any questions or comments?
I thought it was excellent. Sorry about that. I thought it was excellent. I too have brought too much information to my presentations. I like how it was, like you said, you were ready to lock and load. So
Yes.
just roll with it. Sometimes I feel like I keep going or I keep pulling out another whatever comp, and it's like, anyway, I thought it was very good. I liked your tonality. I liked you were engaging, and I don't know, I just really liked the whole thing. I hope that helps.
Good. So what you saw is that you don't need to overload a guy like me. Okay?
Right. I overload the D's, which I think it's like, yeah, I don't know if you're a D, but
I'm a high D.
Very much a D.
So am I.
Yes. And I find myself cringing. I'm ready to do it. Okay, signs, because I want to get it on the market and let you go to work.
Let's go.
Yes. So I recommend don't pull out the stuff. Have it ready if you need it, but don't pull it out. She had me sign the communications agreement. Then I signed her marketing agreement. And so what's one more? Just sign the listing. Let's put her to work.
And by the way, I love
that. You're like, here's my commitment or whatever. Sign this. So you're already doing that whole thing. Like I remember thinking, oh, they're already halfway there. You're like, sign this. I'm committed to. That was really, really good.
That was a good.
It's like already, they're committed to you.
You're getting them to commit. Yes.
I didn't always do that. I'm telling you, the reason I was able to do that is because of being locked in with this group here, seeing how other people do what they do. And I tweaked that just from the last meeting that we had, the last presentations that we did. I tweaked it because while we're always going to say, oh, go to the kitchen table. But then what are they doing at the kitchen table?
Right.
Guess what? They're looking over that stuff so we can get on in there. It just finally clicked to do that because I am a D and I'm like, I'm all about, boom, boom, boom. But guess what? Leanne, there are people who aren't.
I'm an I. I'm a high I, but a high I can irritate a D.
Yeah.
Yes.
But that's okay. But at least we know, okay, we need more information for them. They're not going to sign right away.
So you as a D going in, yes, you as a D, or you might get the one who's more high I and they want to show you something that they did on the house or tell you a story about the house. And the D is probably going, oh, shit.
Yes.
So, a lot of times with that prequal, you'll find that out when I say, well, on a scale of 1 to 10, and then they'll start saying, well, I did the kitchen, I did this, I did. And so sometimes you can keep them from doing that when you go in because you already know about it.
Oh, that's smart. That's very smart.
So on a scale of 1 to 10, how would you rate the condition of your home? And they'll be honest. They'll be more honest than other realtors. So the seller will say, oh, I'd rate it an 8. Well, it would make it a 10. So now you want to find that ammo. Yeah. And they're going to tell you, well, I need some updating here, updating there. Now you got some ammunition, right, on the price. So, and what you said, do you want to upgrade? Are you going to bring the house up to selling standards, and upgrade it more? Or are we going to adjust it per the value, and so that's what you have. And so it's another arrow in your quiver, right? So you're ready to pull it out when you need it. Yuki, comments,
Deborah,
Yuki.
Yes, Debbie or Deborah, I thought you did a great job. I love how you got your first yes. I guarantee the communication. I thought that was really clever. So from there on, you got another yes or a no. He doesn't have any questions around marketing, and you went strong with your pricing, and you got it. So that was great. Good job.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes. When she asked me the range and I said 460, you would have said, that's what I would have said was, that's exactly what I was thinking. Sign the contract. I wouldn't even explain the other. I would have just said, great,
Right,
we're
you
like
did
on
say-
track.
yeah. Great, let's do this.
Deborah,
Yes.
you mentioned to Ron, you said you're a master negotiator. Now, if you ask me that, I would say, what does that entail? What does that mean? How do you become a master negotiator?
Okay.
That's
well,
my buddy Robert.
I'm
Where you
glad
at?
you asked that question. Let me tell you how. Okay. Whatever the buyer wants, if I know that's not something you want, we're not going to go with it. I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
But
I
I
haven't.
like that you said master negotiator. I was like, I like that. That's key. So I'm going to use that.
Yes. And what does that mean to me, Deborah, as
Well,
your seller?
What it means to me is that I'm going to stick with the price that I know you want as best I can. I'm not going to let the buyer nickel and dime you.
See, you have how many years of experience?
Over 30 since 1993.
There you go. So, I'm experienced, I'm an active agent, I'm a proactive, and this is where we need to be. And
Yes.
and in the negotiation, if they don't have the strength to stand up to you, Mr. Seller, on their price, on the price that we set, what do you think they're going to do when they negotiate against a guy like me? They're going to fold. I'm going to eat their lunch. And that's what I do. So that was perfect. Master negotiator. Any other questions? Robert, I heard Robert, there's Isabel.
That's
Isabel? I see Isabel. I don't hear her.
Yes. Hi, I'm here. It was very good. I really liked it, and I took a few things from your presentation that I'm going to use. It was very good. I can tell that you are experienced, and
Yeah.
it was good. I have some things for myself. Thank you.
Oh, that's good. I'm glad. I'm really grateful that we can be a part of this group so we can help each other to, what is that? Share. What does Jim use as a word? We have to, I can't think of it right off, but
Collaborate.
yeah, we have to
Collaborate.
collaborate. We really do. This is how we're not in the same market. We're competing against ourselves, but wherever you are, you know, the presentations can help us, and I'm learning from the group.
One of the things I did lead you into the direction, but you didn't catch it,
What was it?
I'm buying a home in Albuquerque. I'm going to Albuquerque. So who do we know in this group that is an Albuquerque agent? So you gotta pick up the referral. That's another 30%.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. And you know what? I'm going to tell you, there was, I remember that in your presentation, you did say that. You said, great, where are you going? And oh yeah, that's right. Thank you for that. I'm going to remember that.
Yes.
Because that's a double basically, or a nice referral.
Yes,
Thank you.
I know a
remember
great
that.
agent and get excited about that. Oh, I know who you're working with. Oh, I know a great agent in Albuquerque. And after we sign the contracts tonight, we'll get her on the line and we'll get that already started for you. So you're not losing any ground because we don't have any time left, do we? So she'll be working on it there. I'll be working on it here. And you know what the best part is? If we have to adjust here, we'll make it up on the buy. So that's where you make your money, on the buy. Anyways, in any kind of investment. So get them excited,
That makes me think of when I was a teenager. For my first job, I worked at a clothing store. And so when you sell a suit, you get the shirt, you get the tie, you get the scarf, you get the cufflinks, and that's that extra, money that you get. And that when you were describing that, Ron, that made me think of that. Yeah, we got to get that extra, you know.
Yeah, because that can come into, if you do, 20 or 30 of those, that's a good chunk of change
Mm-hmm.
that adds up over your year.
Yep.
So pick those up even if you call them. I have listed so many homes or sent so many referrals when they say, well, we signed last night with our agent, we re-signed. Fantastic. Where are you going to next? If you sold it, if you sell it, where are you going? Well, we're going to Seattle. Who are you working with in Seattle? I know a great agent in Seattle. So you pick that. Well, we're not working with anybody yet. Well, let me get them on the line, and let me call them and make sure, and we'll call you in 5 minutes. So, I mean, a lot of times the agent that lists the property doesn't think to get the referral. So you zip in, you get the referral, and I've listed homes, guys, when I was selling in Albuquerque, a little house in Rio Rancho, but it was an Intel employee. That example moved to Seattle, I think it was, or wherever Intel is up there in the Northwest. I got a hold of a guy. He says, I know their program. I'm the expert in Intel. So they buy a big home in Seattle. I made more money on the referral than I did if I have taken the listing. And all I did was a phone call. That's how quick and easy that can be. So always pick those up. And it's a big help to people because they really haven't started that process yet.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it's just a shoo-in, because here's the thing. If me and Deborah did a deal, I know that Deborah, because she's part of this group, is going to handle it the way we talk about handling things. So the transaction will be so much smoother. See, I really feel like Leanne was saying, the high D and you have to bring things out. I really feel that the drama in real estate, the reason deals fall apart in the end and they have to, is because our commissions are so large that you almost can't justify your commission if it's a smooth transaction. So agents, I think, tend to create drama and instead of just having a smooth transaction. Look, if I price my home and it sells in 3 days and Deborah was right on the price, I mean, that's why I hired her.
Send
but
the
agents
review. Here, give me a good review.
Agents tend to think, well, geez, I made $20,000 in 3 days. I mean, but the sellers are happy to pay you. They're happy to pay a good agent. And if they're happy with you, your commission and everything doesn't even come up. They're bragging you up. They love to brag about their agent. She got it sold in 3 days. That other agent had it on the market 6 months and couldn't sell it. Right?
And you know what? Getting back to Leanne, what you have to do is, what you were saying is you have a lot. I did leave some stuff out because Ron was, he was right there. There was probably a little bit, of my presentation that I didn't have to add to it, because when you do that 1 minute presentation, you already kind of know how they're going. So I don't know what your the first part of your presentation is, but if you can pivot and not do all of your presentation, they're going to love you for it, because nobody wants to be you to be in their house for an hour.
And you can ask Alexana. I have called her at 10 at night, 11 at night. And I'm like, guess what? I just left the listing presentation. Started at 7 p.m. They had chicken in the oven. And I've even offered to leave.
Isn't that uncomfortable? I've been sitting outside on the curb in my car, and I'm like ready. I go up to the door and the agent before me is still there. And the sellers will come out and they'll say, I'm sorry, he just won't leave. And I'll say, I walked in and I said, watch this, I'll make him leave. And I grabbed his briefcase and threw it out the front door, and yeah, the guy was upset, but he was so shocked that I did that. I just shut the door and I said, there we go, problem solved. I listed the property, just bam, like that.
I don't want to be there forever.
Leanne is she's got 8 listings, so she's got one this afternoon, so she knows what she's doing.
That's good.
One of the guys in our Zoom group told me to point my toes to the front of the front of the house. He said it's body language. So I went in, I pointed my toes to the front. I stood the whole time. I didn't sit down because I know Jackie Kravitz says don't sit. And for God's sakes, it was still 3 hours. What am I doing?
Does Jackie say don't sit? Oh man, I love
Yeah, Jackie says don't sit at all.
Don't
No.
sit.
I
Wow.
Well, because that preps you to leave faster.
Okay.
And I've had people jump up. I just tell them sometimes if I'm so excited, I just say, hey, you know what? I do a great presentation when I'm standing, so let me go ahead and go through the presentation, and they'll get up, jump, high five. I've had them high five me, sign the contract, and I've been out the door down the street, and they'll call me and say, what did we list the house for again? Because they were so excited about the presentation and not sitting through this eye bleeding, ear bleeding presentation, that we just got it signed and they were happy.
How long are your presentations?
Mine are always only 5 to 15 minutes, pretty much. Anything else? Yeah, I'm pretty quick. Well, a lot of times, so you can't do a 1 minute one unless you send the package with the price and everything. So a lot of times, if I go to a home, they've already got my listing presentation, my prequel, and my actual document for the listing itself, the listing document. So one of them I did the other day, one of the last ones I took, I thought I was going to battle it out of several agents because they were coming from 2 hours away. And I started my presentation. I talked to them. They said, oh, yes. I said, did you get my pre-listing package with the listing documents? They said, yes, we've got them signed right here. We've already got them signed. We just had one. So they said, we have one question about the price. And I said, what's the question? And they said, well, why did you ask? And I didn't need much off. I just needed like $5,000 on that one. I said, because it's a stale listing. So yes, it should sell at this price, should have sold. I said, but it didn't. And I can't ignore that. So I need some pricing to stir that mud up again in the market. I need to stir it up and make it fresh. And they said, okay, that's just what we were asking. So, and it sold. It sold in that was the 137 days on the market. So nice. It had sat over a year with one of the other agents. And so I came in, priced it right, and boom, got it done. And and I didn't need a lot off, so I don't know what that other agent was doing. But they felt he had new construction in the area. So the sellers felt that he was using their house and then showing them the new construction. And it was kind of undermining them. But I got it done quick, but you can do that, but you have to have confidence in that. Go ahead.
Sidebar question, Ron.
Okay.
I did an open house yesterday. A guy walks in, kind of a nerdy, techie guy. We started chatting. He's looking at houses on his own, and we started talking, and he says, I've been using AI and learning. It's been teaching me how to buy a house, how to make an offer. And then I have an attorney to review everything. And he's like, why do I even need a buyer's agent? I don't. And that just, wow. Is that the way people are shifting their thinking now? What do you think?
Well, I would use that against him. I would say, what's the AI? How many houses does AI own? They don't own, the AI guy doesn't own any house. Guess what? There's a lot more to owning a house than just the price, isn't there? There's a lot more to maintaining a property than just, what Zillow or AI or an attorney knows. Even the attorney, you can bet he's going to say, go get you somebody to protect your interests. And if he doesn't say that, he's not a very good attorney, right? So, yeah, I would just eat him up. I would just say, you're smart to in advance learn about these things, but there's a lot more to owning a house than just what the computer tells you.
I probably would ask a little bit more information, like share with me, tell me more.
I wouldn't because he's probably smarter than I am about AI. But the truth is it's a human, it's an emotion. It's an emotion buying houses.
Yeah, it is.
AI doesn't have any emotion.
None.
And I've had houses where the seller doesn't want to sell to people because she didn't like them, or she can't see how this young couple has enough money to buy this house.
Yes, I just had that happen. Sorry.
There you go.
It was a young couple, and they were like, well, I don't think they're going to want it. They're not going to be able to afford it. I mean, and we were already in due diligence, and I'm going, it's happening. Like, it kept going, and she kept saying they're not going to do it. And I don't know, is that a jealousy thing, or they're just not confident because they're a lot older? Like, this was a really older, I don't mean old, but these were older people. So
well, they do. They
yeah.
think, how are they going to afford it? They're just wasting our time. I don't want to get, but never, just tell them, let's see what they present, and we'll go over it at that point. But don't form any opinions about it, because we don't.
Opinions. I've never had that happen so strongly where they were like,
we don't care who the buyer is. All we care about is getting you the money that you need to get on to where you're buying your next home.
Right.
But yes, so it is an emotional purchase.
It is very much. And then I also found out that they had renovated this house, and the wife didn't want to sell it because they never lived in it. It was a 1900s house, but it's beautiful what she did. And the husband was all about, let's get this damn thing sold, because it's, I poured a lot of money into it and I want to just get the money out. So their marriage was doing this while I was the agent. And
so who do you want to focus on in that scenario?
I actually focused on him when I went down there and face to face, because they're in their 70s, and I had just switched firms. So I actually drove down to the house and I sat with them, and I was there a couple hours, but I had never met him. See, he wasn't at the point. So I don't know. Tell me what you would do. Was that the right person to focus on?
Yes, I would focus on the guy that wants to sell. And just have him explain to his wife, look, I understand. Look, I understand you love the house, and it shows.
Yeah, a lot of emotion there. Her son helped her with it, a lot of emotion.
It's a big decision, but yet it's a decision we have to make to move forward. So let's make the decision now, sign the contract.
Ron, what is it that you send
Thank you.
in presentation? What do you send them?
Well, I send them my pre-listing package, and it has my action plan. It has the net out, which I call the money page. You've seen me do that presentation. I have the money page. I have how I'm going to get you the money, which is my action plan. It was a marketing plan. And then I have my most frequently asked questions, which are the 10 most popular objections and my handlers to that. Will you cut the commission? No. Any other questions? I mean, it's all written out. So they don't really even ask me that, because they know my answer is going to be, I got a dog on my lap. So they know my answer is going to be the same as what's written. So as I'm looking at the house,
would you be willing?
Go ahead.
Would you be willing? Yes.
Okay. Yes, I can send you all that. I'll
send you my email. Okay, I didn't mean to cut you off. Okay.
No problem. So as I'm looking at the house through the eyes of a buyer, that's what they're reading. The money, which is the net out. So it doesn't matter what we sell the house at. What matters is the money we put in your pocket. See, the sales price doesn't matter, guys. But what are they always prepared to battle you on?
The sales price or the commission.
Right. So the commission, I never get that, hardly. But the sales price, if they're prepared to battle me on sales price, what they're not prepared for is the net out, because they don't know the cost. And that's the most important figure. So if you say, look, you're going to walk away with, and say it like this, don't say 465, say $465,000 in 30 days. Is that going to be a big problem? And they'll say, well, that's what we're going to walk with? Yes. Okay, yeah, that sounds good. Sign the contract. So if you just express to them, yes, don't say 465. Just say
465.
You see, if you notice how I present or talk, guys, you'll notice that I was talking to Isabel this morning about when sometimes I don't repeat and affirm the answer. Like if I ask a question, they say, well, I want 475. I'll say, ouch. Oh my gosh, are you kidding? And then that shocks them. but what that is, it's a pattern interrupt, a level shift. All of a sudden, I answered their question with, ouch, oh my God.
I like
See,
that.
I didn't have to repeat what they said. They realized that, and they're thinking, oh my gosh, yeah, and then you say, we know it didn't sell at that. Why would we put it back in the market at that?
Yeah, doing the same thing as, what is that saying?
Doing the definition of insanity. Do you
Insanity.
know See, I say that. A lot of people really
You
don't
come
like
right out and say it.
Oh yeah, I'll say, you know the definition of insanity, don't you? Oh my gosh. Doing the same thing over again.
I love it.
Yeah, and get excited, get emotional, and hit that with a jolt of energy, and you'll see that it changes them.
Okay.
And then just take that and run with it. Sign the contract. Let's quit messing around. Put me to work so I can show you how I do things.
I love to say, put me to work. I use that line a lot. Like, are you ready to get going? I want to put my boots to the ground, or let's get to work, or let's go.
Yes. All I need from you is to sign this, and I'll do what I said I'd do. But put me to work right now.
Mm-hmm. Put me to work.
And they get excited when you hear that. And they hear
so you're an animated D then.
Oh, I mean, yeah.
Not all Ds are animated. You're very animated.
Yes. What I've learned to do mostly, guys, is preemptively sell them. Okay. So everything is presumed. If I'm coming out, there's no question in my mind that I'm not taking this listing. That's why else would you have me come out here? You see what I mean? And then there's no other agent as good as me. I mean, period. That's just comes across, you know? So, and I'll let them know, you know, even if it's a top producer of the area, guys, or whatever they want to call themselves. Say, I've never heard of him. Who is that? How did you? Oh man, I've never heard of that guy. Or you can say, did he got his license back or what? You know, just say stuff that off the cuff like that. So what's the worst that can happen?
You guys.
No, I've had when I was coming up, that's why I became my own broker mainly, because I've had every broker in the town call me and call my broker and say that Ron Poindexter pissed off my agent, you know. So what? I took the listing, you know, and so I got tired of hearing that, got my own brokerage. And then what are they going to call me now? And you know, crybaby agents.
What are you looking for, Ron? 6 months?
Yes, all my listings are for 6 months. And then, but what I focus on is, but what I plan on doing is getting this sold under contract within 30 days. And you know what? If I do that, I'm going to ask you for more money. I mean, I have a bonus of $500. And if it's already in your net out, my bonus $500. If I put this house under contract within the first 30 days, it's an incentive to myself to work harder. So if it's at day 29, guess who's on the phone trying to make something happen in that last day, right? If I don't make it, that 500 goes back into your column, Mr. Seller. What happens when you do that? See, in the real life, everybody else other than real estate, everybody else has a quota. They get a bonus if they meet a deadline. Every other job has that. So what they hear is that's exactly like my job. You know, if I met my deadline or my quota, I get a bonus. And I've had them sign right then and there. When I say that, they'll say, "Oh, I love that. Let's sign it." Wow. There you go. But how many times can you get a property selling and under now not close in 30 days, but under contract with a solid contract within that first 30 days? Because sometimes it's not possible based on inspections and things like that to get it closed in that 30 days. But they understand that and they will sign it. And every time so when I talk to people, what's different about me is I'll say, "Oh, I'll even ask you for more money." And I'll talk to you about that when I get together with you. Who does that? Most agents want to cut their commission. I'm asking you for more.
More.
That's good. Wow.
Right?
When you say asking for more money, you talking about that bonus incentive?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Bonus. I'll even ask you for more money. Now, I think right now in this market, most of mine are at 3.5%. because I'm the listing agent, and the listing agents, we work our tail off. We spend more money doing something to try to get this house sold. So give 2.5 to the other agents. They're willing. A buyer's agent nowadays is really, they're going to take whatever they can, because what's their other choice? You think a buyer's agent is going to take a buyer to small claims court to get his commission, or, no, he's going to take whatever he gets from the seller and the compensation. That's why they did it that way. So, and then I have to assume with my sellers, I don't know what the agreement, maybe that buyer's agent's great and she's already got a commitment from the buyer for 3%. And
yeah,
now
we don't get to see that. We don't get to see those cards.
Exactly. You see that? Yeah. So we're just assuming in most places that they're going to get most of their commission from us, but they may not.
So let me ask you this. I don't want to go down too many rabbit holes, but what do you say when you're at the listing presentation about the buyer side?
I just tell them, look, I built you in a net out for a compensation of 2.5%. Okay. I'm taking 3.5. Yeah. And I've got that in there, but we're going to put that we'll consider it in the MLS, but there's no commitment. So it's based on each offer that comes in. We'll look at each offer and see what it nets you. And we may hit them back on commission. We may hit them back on repairs. We may hit them back on, whatever. But the greatest thing, here's what's great about that, guys. You want to turn that into a positive. The greatest thing about what happened last year is that we can now negotiate their part of the commission. We have the opportunity to negotiate their fee down. And once they do that, see, then they don't hit you on commission at all.
No, that's good. I really like that.
Here's a big hint, guys, a big tip. Learn your presentation, know it well enough that you don't have to take 2 hours before the presentation to put something together. Know it well enough that if you had to run right out, you could take your pre-listing package, do a presentation, just bam, based on what you know about the neighborhood, what you know about it didn't sell at, and your presentation. And don't adjust it if it's $1 million home or if it's a $200,000 home. Do not make any adjustments. You do this, period. And this is how you get homes sold. So I had a conversation with someone last night, and she's like, well, they're saying they're going to stage it and they're going to pay all this stuff. Yeah, they're going to go broke. We know that. Any agent that overpromises, they're going to tag their credit card enough to where then they go broke, because you overpromise and you underdeliver. So, and when it expires and that agent has spent $3,000 on 90 days of staging and the drones, and what I tell people is, look, it doesn't matter what I do unless we get them in the home. See, you can have every floor plan, digital floor plan, drones, whatever. Yeah, those are all real nice. But unless they're not going to buy it based on that, they're going to have to go see the home. So that's what you focus on. So my focus is to beat those bushes, get those buyers in there, and aggressively find them and get them in the home. And then they can make their real decision, right? Because everybody knows pictures, heck, every picture I do is virtually staged and everything. And unless you get them in the home, you're not going to get them to buy. I think in my whole career, I had one client that bought just strictly off the photos in the internet in 36 years.
Wow. Yeah.
So plus I'm a listing agent anyway, so I focus on listings. Keep the inventory coming in. Think of it as a store.
List to last.
That's right. You got to list to last.
That's my new motto.
That's right. And you have far less drama when you're the listing agent.
Yeah.
Far less everything. You don't have.
I related to what you said about how some agents will bring drama in. I've had buyer's agents create drama that wasn't even there. Oh my God, there's a little pool of water in the basement. Oh my God. It's and they make it so big that I don't want to make it sound like I'm perfect, because I'm not.
I've talked to agents. I talked to an agent one time. I said, what are you doing? And it was in our group here. And she's like, I'm putting a door in my car. She's trying to get a door in her car. I said, do you have a truck or what? What do you mean your door in a car? She says, well, I promised my seller I'd go pick up this door and deliver it to this handyman and I said, why in the world are you doing that? I said, are you getting paid to do that? She says, oh no, I promised my sellers. Well, you overpromised. I would have said, what do I look like? Or if they call me with a plumbing repair, call a plumber.
See, I'm working on that as well. Alexandra was helping me with that a week ago because I think people rely on me too much. They're like, oh, can you go do this? Can you? And some of my listings are an hour away.
Yeah.
So to go all the way out there, to meet the.
See, I call those Gilligans. If it's a 3-hour tour, I'm probably not going to take the listing. You see, I'm going to refer it.
We got to get ready to get on to the.
Oh, is it that time? I'm sorry.
Yeah,
we get to talk.
My alarm just went off.
Gilligan, I love it. Okay, I could talk with you all.
Too good.
So we're gonna go into espresso.
Okay. All right, guys. I'll see you. Great call. Great job, Deborah.
Thank you.
Where you going? Did you get the email, Ron?
I'm sorry?
Did you get my email?
Probably. I got a bunch of them dinging me, but I'll certainly send any pre-listing package or anything you guys need.
Thank you.
All right. I'll see you on the next call.
All right, thanks. Bye.
Bye.
Hey, Ron.
Yeah. Robert?
Do you do a lot of open houses?
No, I don't do any open houses. You're too good of agent. You're too good of agent to do an open house.
So what if the seller wants, we got to do an open house?
Tell them to hold it open. The fact is, tell them, look, Mr. Seller, you want me doing what I'm best at, which is going out and getting aggressively finding buyers that are actually qualified for your house, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, then why would I promise you that I'm only going to let qualified people come through a house who are ready, willing, able to buy it, and then I tell you that when I take the listing, and then a lot of agents will say, okay, when's the first open house? See, you don't know who's qualified, ready, and able to buy the home if you open your home up to everybody. So I don't do open houses, no. And they don't want you to do them, really. They just think that's maybe what you do. And if you explain to them, where you want me is on the phones, because that's where I can make the highest amount of contacts in the shortest amount of time to qualified people. And before I bring them out, I'm going to make sure we have a pre-qual letter, or a pre-approval letter in hand so that we're not wasting any of your time. And you can go ahead.
You would tell them they're not effective in getting your home sold.
Absolutely.
They're just looky-loos, nosy neighbors coming by.
What skill, anybody who's been through an open house, what skill does the host of the open house use? I mean, how much skill really does it take to hold an open house?
Yeah, none.
Well, they usually get inexperienced agents to do them.
Yeah, why do they do that?
So explain it, yeah. Because they're looking for buyers. They're looking for clients.
Right, which you shouldn't be looking for is if you know that the listings keep you fed and keep your family living the life that you want, why would you keep looking for buyers? I
hate doing open houses.
Yeah, it's terrible. Don't do them anymore. Don't do them anymore.
I typically don't unless the seller insists, right? But most of them, when they occupy, when they're living in the home, they're relieved when I tell them that I'm not a proponent of the open house.
There you go. So you just fit into their life, because nobody wants to keep their house sparkling clean so that they can have an open house every weekend. Who does that? I mean,
The only thing I ask is that the house should be as clean as neat as decluttered at the time of photography.
even with the photography, I got a whole thing on photography, but the fact is, you don't have, if you've taken expired, you already have pictures. Call the other agent up and say, hey, you didn't sell this house. You either have to remove all your pictures off the internet and everything, or just give me permission to use it. And at closing, I'll give you half what you paid back. Or just say, you can't use them anymore. I'd like to use them. Can I use them? And then keep the pictures. Why worry about setting it up again?
I was experimenting. I mean, to be there at a house 2, 3, or even 4 hours is insane. I'm experimenting like, hey, 12 to 1 hour, and get a cattle call. Everybody in through at one time. Who wants to stay there all afternoon?
Exactly. So if I did do an open house, which I don't do them, but that's exactly what I would do. I would hold it for an hour, and then I'd call the neighborhood and say, hey, guess what? I'm going to hold this house only open for an hour. So call everybody you know and tell them that if they want to see this house, let's get them in here and get them through. But I would have a lender there with me to pre-qual them while they're there. I would make sure that anybody who saw through the house was qualified to buy it. Why do you want people come through your house that they're looking through your cabinets, or your drawers, or you don't know what they're there for.
Yeah, right. Well, they want to steal drugs. But
so a professional, top producers, it's what she said, they get brand new agents to hold them. They get other people because they know better, see? But they still comply. Maybe the seller said, oh, I'd like to do an open house. See, I would say, why? Why? Let's talk about that and find out the specific reason, and then explain to them that the lowest percentage of buyers are sold through an open house.
Yeah.
And every other way beats the open house. But yet agents, for some reason, still do them. It's traditional. It's inbred in their, it's beaten into their brain from their broker.
It's, got me thinking, because that lady, the agent got killed in Iowa at an open house.
Yeah, you sent me that.
And they just solved it. They just found the killer like 15 years later. And then lately I've been getting other feeds. All these attacks on agents. Why is that? Now I'm thinking.
I was robbed.
Why?
You were robbed in an open house?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sandra, see, I wouldn't open myself to that. When I did do open houses, sometimes in New Mexico, there's so much crime in Albuquerque that you go through and I would find bottle caps shoved into the deadbolt so that the deadbolt didn't close all the way.
Wow.
Or I would see little kids who were coming in and out of doggy doors. And then they open the back door and they're like, look, Daddy, I did it. They're opening the sliding door. And I'm like, who trained you to do that? Go ahead.
People also, I'm sorry to interrupt, I got to run, but people have this misconception because they were shocked to find that I was robbed in one of the most affluent neighborhoods in the region, probably in the country. And and they thought that I was way out in the worst area of I live in the DC area, the worst area of metropolitan DC. I'm like, why the hell somebody want to rob you in a poor area? They want to go to the richest area to rob people. And they're just shocked by that. They feel this false sense of security because of their wealth.
Exactly. They're behind the walls, so they don't think it can happen to them, but it can. It can. There was a guy out here that showed a house in Canawan, which is in Albuquerque, a real expensive walled community, and they found his body in the pantry. They killed him. And so, yeah, it can happen anywhere. So why open that up to you and your sellers? Just work on what makes more money, which is contacting people, your numbers. Sound good?
Yep.
I'm gonna head to espresso. Nice talking to you. I'll see you next week. Bye.
Thank you, Robert.
You got it, Ron.
I got to figure out how to close this one now. Yeah. Okay.
You hit
Stop.
leave in the corner or something?
Yeah, but I'm on this tablet now, and I don't know.